but it is true. What do you think, Miss Alta? Do you feel like taking a bit of time to enjoy the silence? But how? Doing nothing is excruciating for me. Boro, you've seen me. I genuinely keep trying to slow down and rest. I want to get better at it. But then the person who looks like me, every time I try to do nothing, she forces me back into action. Sitting around all day doing nothing is meaningless if she just gets her way in the end. Ah, yes, I am understanding completely. Perhaps she is seeing boredom as an obligation, an errand, a chain upon the neck. From that perspective, I can be quite understanding to her objections to it. If I had to guess, boredom may be a difficult thing to do until she allows it. So perhaps you can request her permission to be bored. You think she'll listen? I don't know, but to ask the question with an open heart is a good first step. And for now, she cannot stop you from simply sitting on a bench and listening to the wind. Perhaps she'll better understand the merits of boredom with an occasional demonstration. She wants what's best for you. I'm sure you can persuade her of the value in doing nothing. Miss Alta, thank you so much for your patience and your thoughtfulness. Boro appreciates it very much. You have shown such remarkable resilience. It has been a true treat to be on this journey with you. Wherever you have become bored of boredom, you may of course meander over to the shrine. I feel quite certain it will allow you to move on to the next thing, whatever that means. Once I sit down at the shrine, I won't see you again. Oh no, I believe I will see you before you go. Boro may not be in control of the forest, but I am certainly able to sneak in a last goodbye. Do not worry, I will be there to see you out. Take your time, Miss Alta. Do not go until you feel good and ready. We are in no rush here. Okay. Alright, so it did zoom in on that bench when he said you could ask her permission to, or she can't stop you from sitting down and listening to the wind. So I kind of want to just sit down on the bench and just see if anything happens for a second. Monster has a dialogue bubble. Alright, I thought we might have a conversation with our other self, but I guess that's not the case. Just a nice view. Oh, the shop too. Oh gosh, I'm like stuck. Dot dot dot. Hey monster. Dot dot. I don't know if you can hear me. I hope you're doing okay. I'd love to get to talk to you again someday. Well, yeah, okay. I'll see you around. Nana, it's going to be extremely weird hearing nothing but silence from you. Silence? Missy, I tried being silent once and it was a goddamn nightmare. How are you talking? I thought everyone went silent. Yeah, the losers did, maybe. Did I look like one of those bimbos to you? Can't shut me up. Just you try, universe. Just you try. Come on, universe. You got this. Ha! Universe thinks it's so high and mighty? Poosh. Is there a reason you didn't lose your voice the way the other people have seemed to? Missy, I already told you. Me and Boro ain't like everybody else around here. The two of us are cut from different cloth. We don't play by the rules you've been setting here. Wait, the rules I've been setting? Yeah, you. I'm perfectly aware of who the forest is responding to around here. So don't go try making this about someone else. Take some damn responsibility for once. Alright, that's it for old Nana. Something tells me I gotta be getting out of here lickety-split. Nana. You said you saw potential in people, right? The bad kind? Yeah, what of it? What do you see in me? In you? Look, reason why I don't tell folks about this vision of mine, they all seem to need some kind of reassurance. Reassurance that they ain't bad people, or some such like that. But you listen to me. There's no bad people, only bad choices. That's it. The kid over there, she doesn't get the choice. The choice is being made for her, and that pisses me off. Pisses me off. You, on the other hand, you get to choose. So just don't be an idiot about it. Will I ever be a fighter again? ... Now this is just old Nana's opinion, but you'll always be a fighter, kid. That ain't going nowhere. Humph. Alright, time's a wasting. There's market potential out there just begging to be tapped into. I'm out of here. Bye, losers. Good riddance. Bye, Nana. That was really funny. It's gonna be weird hearing silence from you. You just try and shut me up. You ain't got what it takes. Alright, we've exhausted all the dialogue. Now, there are some flavors of tea that I probably missed. I'm not going to go through every one of them. Let's just see what happens. Alta stares at the mysterious shrine. Sit down? Yes. This tune always makes me think of like a spaceship game or something. Hey, are you there? Can you hear me? ... I know you're here. I can feel you. Please, don't let all of this be permanent. Something's going to change me, won't it? It has to. Please let this be something that can be changed.
Permanent. It has to. Forever. Permanent. It has to. Forever.
The one last goodbye. Oh, I should have tried picking up the sword one last time. Probably wouldn't have moved, though, if I had to guess. Well, well. There it is. We're done. Miss Alta, I believe the forest will now be sending you off. So, I'm just going back? Everything returns to how it was? Well, I can tell you for certain that you will be leaving these woods. But whether it goes back to how it was, that will be up to you. Oh, my sword's next to me. Am I going to be a fighter again after all of this? Well, from Boro's perspective, I certainly thinking it's possible if it's something you want. But what do you think, Miss Alta? Do you feel that you are going to become a fighter again? Yes. I see. Why is that? Because it's just who I am. Good. It is good to know who you are. That is an excellent starting place. ... I am very proud of you, Miss Alta. Boro has very much enjoyed your company here in the clearing. Whatever comes next is up to you, and I trust you to be making the good decisions. Once I leave, will I ever see you again? Oh, I should very much be thinking so, but not right away. In time, the forest will always invite you back. You're a weird dude, Boro. Haha, indeed, and I am offering no apologies. I am simply doing what feels right, as best as I can be telling. So, what do you say? Are you feeling ready? It is up to you. We will not move on until you have decided it's time. Okay, I'm ready to go. All right. I am wishing you all the very best, Miss Alta. The sword's gone too. A game by Javier. Oh, that's the end? Yo, I thought we would see her leave the woods. Small bit of torment. Tiny torture. Tiny torture. I thought we would see her leave. All right. Well, chat, I guess that is Wanderstop. Let's see. I was looking to see if there was like a skip this, just to see if there was anything after. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna wait and see if there's anything after the credits. Now we need to know the meaning behind the game. I was really expecting something more unless it was a bad ending. So something I heard from someone else in chat is that this game was made by the guy who made Stanley Parable, and it was supposed to be about like how much stress and stuff that they went through during the crunch time for Stanley Parable. And this was like their way of telling part of that story, or kind of like offloading that. There's supposedly a video about that. Making of Wanderstop. Let me see. Though Redden's vision was originally only to make a cozy game, Wanderstop's focus shifted to the subject of trauma when Zimonja joined development and Redden chose to integrate his feeling of burnout from developing the Stanley Parable and the Beginner's Guide into the narrative. That's what it says. Can't wait for the next game that explains his burnout from Wanderstop. Oh my god. Let's see. The art design, taking inspiration from other cozy games, draws elements of Impressionist art and Art Nouveau. I was looking to see if there was anything else here. Let's see, after C418 and Redden each had ideas for a video game by 2015, development on the game began around 2017, lasting over 7 years. It was completed in Unreal Engine, utilized the Blueprint's visual scripting software for no-code development, and although Redden's vision was originally to make a cozy game, Wanderstop's focus shifted to the subject of trauma when Zimonja joined development, and Redden chose to integrate his feeling of burnout from developing Stanley Parable and the Beginner's Guide into the narrative. That is what the wiki for the game says. I'll say there's more people that worked on this game than I expected. I get that, but other than that, what's the meaning of making us go through it? Of making you go through it? It's just an exposure on pain and regret. What's the point of the gloominess? I can't believe that's all there was to it. It's difficult to put into words. So, Plague, the whole thing, again, because you missed some episodes, right? Like, I mentioned some other horrifying things that they shed light on that you missed, so I know you missed some episodes. But the whole thing was basically Alta's journey of, like, basically coping with a traumatic experience, and her trying to recover and heal from that, and someone trying to help her to the best that he could. That's the story. And yeah, it doesn't have a, you know, wrap it up in a bow and, you know, perfect ending type of thing. But the whole idea is that she made a bit of progress, and he said that is a fantastic starting point, you know? Like, she went from, I can't stop myself from doing horrible things, to I had a choice and I barely stopped myself. And he's like, then it sounds like you're making progress. That's a first step. Just waiting to see if there's anything else. I guess that's it. Okay. All right. Chat, review time. Anytime we finish a game on this channel, we spend a few minutes talking about the game and what we feel about it. So, Wanderstop. Wanderstop is a game I originally played because I got an offer to do a sponsored stream for it. I got paid for it. And I was like, oh, it's from the makers of Stanley Parable. I love Stanley Parable. Yeah, I'll check this out. And if it had just been the tea thing, I probably would have gotten bored of it eventually and not maybe finish the whole game. I might have. But the point is, like, games like Stardew Valley, where it's just, you know, do a little cozy thing, eventually get boring for me. Like, you know, I like Warcraft and Warhammer and stuff like that. I like games with some combat. But this, honestly, throwing in the PTSD made it interesting, and that was definitely, like, an incredible layer of storytelling on top of the game. So, like, it made me look forward to each of those new revelations when they happened. The graphics, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we usually go through a few bullet points for the game. So first off, you know, the story is Alta, and she's going through this traumatic experience, and she goes into the woods trying to find Master Winters. But the woods are magic in some way. And she ends up at this tea shop. And whenever she tries to leave the area, her sword is too heavy to move, and she passes out, and Boro finds her and carries her back. And he's like, the woods are magical, and they think that this is where you need to be, so you just keep getting led back here. So he tries to teach her how to calm down and to chill out a little bit and to relax, because she's constantly giving 110%, and her body's like breaking down. And he gets her to, he's like, why don't you just help at the tea shop? You can leave anytime you want, or don't help if you don't want to. But, you're doing great. You're doing great. So she ends up helping there, and you do the task around the shop. And over time, you meet other people and magical beings and stuff like that. There's one being that's basically a demigod, and they have the power to help you, but then they get distracted, and she has to deal with getting hope that her problem's about to be fixed, and then it just comes crashing down when the demigod thing just wanders off because it's distracted by some other thing that it found interesting, and stuff like that. It just is happening frequently. And I thought it was a pretty cool telling of, if you take out like the whole, like the tea and stuff, and you're just like looking at storytelling, like this person, they built themselves up, they became the best, then they suffered their first loss, and it was a crushing defeat. They didn't take it well. It's like, okay, I just need to do better. I need to put in more effort. And so they started, cutting back on sleep even more, working out even more, and then they crashed out again. And then it was just loss. And they were just like, I'm garbage, I'm trash, blah, 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 blah. And so then they put all their hopes on Master Winters and went to talk with her. And then she was like, oh, I can't help you. And then it was just like, she'd been telling herself for so long that Master Winters was going to be the solution to all her problems, that when that happened, she just snapped. And then she attacked her. But then she was so mortified by what she did, she suppressed it and forgot that she had done that, and you find that out later on in the game. But the whole thing, as far as like, Plaque, who said what was the point, was she was better at the end of the game than she was at the beginning. And the whole point was that she was just trying to get out of these bad habits that she was in and just like improve herself a little bit. So it was, I found it to be very interesting. It's definitely not my new favorite game genre, tea-making trauma sim, but it was very interesting. Music was beautiful. The world was gorgeous. I definitely wish we could have seen more, because like when she would go out into the woods, you always just saw that little thing of her running in place or the still pictures. But the pictures were quite pretty, so it was okay. But like there at the end, I really would have loved to have just seen her like stepping out of the woods holding her sword or something, even just for like a second. But as it is, it just like heavily implied that she left, and then it didn't really show anything. But magical forest. But it was certainly pretty interesting. It was certainly pretty interesting, and certainly like nothing I've ever played before. I can say that just taking care of the place made me think of other like colony sim games, like a little bit of Stranded Alien Dawn, a little bit of Oxygen Not Included, a little bit of Stardew Valley. Taking care of the place was kind of like that. But then the storytelling, like the story that they chose to tell, was vastly different from what the colorful, cheery world around you would make you think that you were about to hear about, Also, their idea of kind of like dimension hopping with the shrine, that was out of left field. I didn't see that coming. That was a very interesting way of going about it. And the whole people just stop talking and you can't hear them anymore when it's time to go. That was I guess to give you like a feeling of like taking a step forward and leaving stuff behind you or something like that. It felt very abstract, but it worked. I was able to, follow along and get through it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Ring says, as someone working through my own burnout, I like this a lot. It's relaxing. The fairy tale look to it is pretty cool, and I also put some aspects into perspective. I liked it. It was hopeful overall. It was a pretty great concept for a gamer, Johnny says. Yeah, I think, was it Nogdog? Yesterday he did his resub, and he said, this is my favorite game I've ever seen you play. And I was blown away by that. Because, like, I think it's a nice game. It's a cozy little game, but I was blown away that of all the games he's seen me play in the last, like, 3 years, which would be around 300 games if he was here every night, this is his favorite one. So I was like, okay, well, that's very high praise for this game then. So I would say that, certainly not, it's not my favorite of favorites, but I liked it. It was pleasant, which is the reason I'm still playing it. I was paid to play it for 2 hours and show you guys the game in case any of you were interested in it. I came back and continued play it all the way to the end because I was enjoying it. And I really think that there's not much better compliment for the game than that. And it looks like it took us right at about 10 hours to finish it. We didn't have every single cup of tea. We did most of the side quests. But yeah, Bora was great. Yeah, Bora was a great character. But yeah, that was our journey through Wanderstop, and hope you guys enjoyed it too.